Brendon O'Connell was raided by state counter-terrorism police 4 times for exposing Jewish racism and hatred for non-Jews and their treatment of the Palestinians. He served 3 years jail in total.
There was extra security in the courtroom for the sentencing. After being told he would serve 3 years in jail, O'Connell yelled out, "That's a holiday camp compared to Gaza."
This was the first police raid. Executed on May the 13th, 2009. All 4 raids will be published in their entirety, with obvious edit cuts, where names are mentioned. Some AI voice isolation has been added to make the voices more clear. It was set at 30%. Please download the material and go through it. It is full of incredible insights, all caught on camera, in front of state counter-terrorism.
This is about SAS Campbell Barracks, Leon Wind, Variant.
Okay.
Timothy, you told me that Variant does your local and national, your local police intercept, an Israeli intelligence
front.
front.
Pop you in the car.
Yeah, I know you are, Tim. You, Tim.
Okay.
I'll tell you.
Keep the name Brendon Lee O'Connell out there, into the future. The main detective is Timothy Paney. He threatened O'Connell, then lied under oath about it. Another major detective is Brandon Shortland. He was a notorious drug squad detective who was suspended from the Western Australian Police Service for frolicking naked, with 2 sex workers in a public pool and fountain, high on drugs. He was then transferred to be the head of the police union. And that is what O'Connell was up against, and subsequent raid videos.
We've got a process that we've got to go through. Okay?
What? Jet Propulsion Laboratory?
Brendon, we've got a process that we need.
You must preserve this material. Please enjoy. The events took place in Perth, Western Australia. Oh, one final note. Police had to watch all of O'Connell's massive documentary collection. What were their favorite videos? All of O'Connell's collection of revisionist material. And most importantly, the 7-hour interview with Kay Griggs. You can find that interview by typing into a search engine, Kay Griggs Talks. So, with attempts to stifle all criticism of the Israeli state and the leaked lunatics who run it, simply make all your criticism of Israel about national security and espionage, and they will never touch you. Good luck.
Now, that noise we can use at the TV, is it?
Yeah.
Radio or something.
Do you want to turn it off?
Yeah, I'll just get one of the other guys to switch it off if that's all right.
It's on the computer.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. That's okay. We'll stick.
Or you can turn it down in the amplifier.
Yes,
It's just near the television.
Okay. All right. Time now is about 5 minutes to 3 on Wednesday, the 13th of May, 2009. We're currently situated in the kitchen of 101 Peninsula Road. 111 Peninsula Road in Maylands. My name's Detective Senior Constable Tim Paney from the State Security Investigation Group. With me are other officers from that section. We're currently in the kitchen, and as we've done an introduction to prior to the video being switched on, can you just identify yourself for the purpose of the video, please?
My name's Brendon Lee O'Connell.
And your date of birth, please?
27/10/1970.
Okay, and your current address?
Is here.
Is here, 111. Okay. You happy for me to call you Brendon?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now, as I said to you, we came into the premises, we knocked on the door, we had no answer. I believe some guys, my officers are at the back door, you've let us in, we're in the house now. I just explained to you that we were just doing a cursory search of the house to make sure there was no one else here. You told me there were 2 other people that lived with you, but they're not here at the moment. All right. Prior to the video switching on, do you recall that I gave you a caution?
Yes.
All right, what I'll do now for the video, I'll caution you again, and I'll let you know that at this particular point in time you're under arrest for suspicion of committing an offence contrary to Section 77 of the Criminal Code. All right, and I'll explain that in detail to you. But as a result of that, you're again not obliged to say anything unless you wish to do so. But whatever you do say will be recorded and may be used in evidence. All right, now just so I understand that you understand what I'm talking about, just explain to me what that caution means to you.
I'm under no obligation to say anything.
Okay.
At all.
All right. If I ask a question, do you have to answer that question?
No.
All right. any of the other officers ask a question, do you have to answer the questions? All right, and alternatively, if you answer these questions, where may they be filed?
In a court.
Yep.
Criminal proceedings.
Okay, all right. Now, as a result of you being arrested under suspicion, you have certain rights, okay? And those rights are as follows. You have the right to speak to a lawyer and or speak to a friend or relative and, to advise them of
Before we go on, what am I actually being arrested for?
Okay, it's section 77 of the Criminal Code, which is actually an offence that's contrary to conduct with intent to incite racial animosity or racial harassment. Okay, that's the offence, all right? So that's what we're.
So you're all aware of the threats and intimidation I received by Jews online? Are you aware? Because I've screenshot. Now, just one more thing, gentlemen, before you go.
I'll let you have your say, and then I'll explain how things are going to operate today.
All right.
Go ahead.
Also, all my computer and this stuff is not going to be accidentally erased or taken. And okay, please, because I have a lot of respect for the local government.
Sure. Look,
don't make
maybe if I explain the procedures today, you'll probably answer some of those questions. All right. A few procedural things I just have to go through before we go on. Obviously, you understand what we're talking about. You can read and write English, okay? Is that
sure.
correct? And so we need to sound condescending or anything, but we just have to clarify.
They also asked how many of you are ex-army or ex-SAS personnel?
That's not relevant. We're all police officers, all right? So you understood everything I've said so far?
I've been courteous in answering that.
Okay.
Can I ask how many of you are ex-special service?
The answer is...
I'm really sick of this special service gaslighting and coming in here to this house. I've had enough of it.
Brendon, just
okay.
Bear with us, please. We're here to do a job, and we expect that certain common courtesies are extended, and I need to explain some things to you. Okay?
Sorry, I just guess a lot of frustration in the last 12 months.
Look, I understand. That's okay. All right. Now, are you affected by alcohol at the moment? No. Okay. Are you affected by any other drugs?
No, nothing. Don't tell me.
Okay. So, by saying you don't take anything, you're not prescribed any medication?
No, nothing. Took 2 Panadol last night. Had too much coffee.
All right. Now, how are you feeling as a result?
Fine. Alert, orientated to time and place.
Okay. All right. Are you suffering from any illness or injury?
No.
All right. And are you in any way prescribed any drugs or anything like that?
No.
Nothing? Are you seeking any psychiatric help at the...
I know that's the angle they'll be aiming for, but no.
No, I'm asking you.
Yeah, no. Sorry, this is just for me. This is just me. Okay. I'm not thinking, look, sorry you guys, I know you've got a job to do. I'm thinking 10 steps ahead. I know how this works.
Okay, all right. So, you're comfortable with the situation at the moment? You understand we're here on a search warrant?
Sure.
And I'll explain that now as to what the procedure is going to be. All right? And I'll give you a copy of the search warrant for you now, if you like. Essentially, that's the copy of the warrant which has been signed by JP, which I'll show you the original. If you'd like to see the signature of the JP at the bottom. Okay. It's an exact copy. Well, the JP's identity is not disclosed at this moment. Okay. Now, the things we're searching for, there's 9 items that we've referenced there, and I'll read those out. Computer hard drives, storage, other media devices, including floppy disks, compact disks and other removable media. Computer hardware or software deemed necessary to gain access to or data or programs contained on the aforementioned storage media. Documentation, including manuals, guides, other references which will provide information necessary for the proper operation of the computer hardware, software or peripheral equipment. Books, literature or pamphlets. Communications equipment, including but not limited to mobile telephones, faxes and pagers, video recording equipment, including but not limited to video cameras and still cameras.
Do I get to keep? I would get to keep this card.
I'll explain. Video editing devices and recorded media, including but not limited to DVDs, CDs or videos, and documents relating to communications usage, including but not limited to internet accounts, mobile and landline accounts. Now that's in summary of what we're searching for. I'll give you the opportunity now to, if there are any large amounts of cash on the property that you'd like us to secure for you.
My dog shit. No.
All right.
At the bank net.
All right. Well, I'm just putting that out there because we want to make sure that if there are any large items of jewellery, are there anything you'd like us to secure?
There's some eBay. No, I wouldn't do that too.
Huh? Okay. Look, I'm just asking you.
No, it's just in the chapel there. We're selling a bunch of eBay stuff in the
in
the Russian Orthodox Church chapel.
Okay, no problem. And you've already said to me before that you don't use illicit drugs, so therefore, Do you know if there are any illicit drugs on the premises?
No.
All right. So,
The people I live with, for the record, one's a monk, lived in Russia,
okay.
Australian guy. Another guy's doing his PhD at Oxford in theology and history. These are the sort of people.
Very good. Okay.
Sorry, how many people did he? Was two?
Three.
Three more.
3 including yourself? Or 3?
No, 2, including me. 2 plus me.
So 3 all up.
He would have guessed before he goes over. So
All right. What the procedure today will be is obviously we're in the kitchen. The video operator will conduct a pan of the house, and what that entails is you accompany us, just go through each room, pan, and I'll ask you to describe whose room it is, what the room is, and then we'll come back into here and I'll explain what the procedure is going to be from there. I would ask you that whilst we do that, you don't touch anything, you don't make any telephone calls, or you don't use any computer items, okay? As I said to you, you are under arrest. If you've got your mobile phone, I'll grab that, thank you. If you want to hand that over, you
can I hand that over at the end, and
Yeah.
I trust all that data will still be there.
Look, well, you know, everything we're doing is transparent. That's why we video things, okay? So anything that's recorded, you'll be given a copy of.
Sure.
Anything that we seize today, you'll be given a receipt of, okay? And the way our procedures are, everything is dealt with in terms of evidentiary material, and we have procedures and protocols that we follow. All right. So I'll give you my assurance to you that everything will be dealt
That's
with.
great. So all this on the public record, I'd just like to use this opportunity to talk about an American female in the US who has been harassed.
Probably do
Who has
that.
been harassed for years.
While we're
I know her
doing
name. She goes by the name of America and Poison Ivy.
Right.
And I just want on the record, in case anything were to happen, because she's been harassed for many
all
years.
right. No problem. What we'll do now is we'll do a pan of the rooms. If you could accompany us to do that.
Sure.
Okay, let's go and do that now. We'll start at the front door, work our way back. After you. You just walk to the front door.
Yeah, we'll follow you.
Okay. Well, this is obviously the front entrance. Yep, okay.
That's the Russian Orthodox chapel, which Father Michael does services in.
All right, now without
to the
upsetting
Russian
any
Orthodox
cultural
Church.
sensitivities, we
Yes, some of us are
video-
culturally sensitive.
We
you
need
may.
to videotape that particular room, so can we just get that silver covered twice? You want the lot?
It's a typical Greek life. This will He's blessed to really go. He's excellent service, isn't he? You worried about those SAS communications?
I'll just get you to stand.
Israeli Jew National.
Just get you to stand over there in that corner for me, thanks, Brendon. And we'll just the next room.
Has Variant or Andos, any of those companies involved in surveillance devices, have they installed any surveillance?
Will you just pop out of the way for us, thanks. Yeah.
You've got to use every opportunity. What room is this one? That's my bedroom. Yep.
Now,
To be renovated.
with your bedroom, just stand there for us while we're doing pan. You live here with other people. What access do that other people have to your room? Do you know?
Whatever. Anyone has access.
Okay. And the computers that are over in the corner there,
That's my
they're
computer.
your computers.
Oh, no, not that one. That one is to be installed. That's a work computer. He was kinesiology.
You talking about
The
the laptop?
laptop, only the laptop's fine.
Okay, the laptop, sure, all right. And the other items in here,
I only use my laptop because we get constantly hacked. We get Jewish hackers over saying, when those are there.
so the CDs that are there,
Oh, that's just me. So there's that status we're putting in modules computer out in the land.
backpack,
That's mine.
that's yours. Okay.
So you do have all those threats.
Okay.
I've collected all those threats
Just talk
from
me-
the members of the Jewish community who've been threatening me online. I hope you'll be serving a warrant on them as well.
We'll go this way, just pop there
Ask
for
me
me.
my telephone number.
This room in here, Brendan, what's this room?
This is, I guess, the one.
Okay.
That's correct. Okay.
Now the computers that are on here,
Oh, that's all.
they're all. Now, are we able to get into contact and put it in at some point?
Yeah, sure. His numbers on my
The
phone.
reason I want to do that is just that we need to confirm that this is actually his property.
Oh, okay.
Okay, just that's the only reason. All right, so we'll do that in due course. Right, now this room in here,
This is the lounge in there.
lounge, okay. The black box that's there,
That's
the
the media centre. It's really
It's a media
classical music. And,
okay. All right. Do you have access to that?
oh, only if I want to watch something.
Oh.
But the reason I don't use any other computer except mine, only because of all the hacking that goes on. We're constantly hacked. So if I use these computers, I'll just get hacked.
All right.
So that's their business.
So this is a common TV room. This room in here.
Just a lounge area.
Another lounge area. Okay. And just the TV.
Yeah. That's my baseball bat for protection for the constant predators and vandalism and brake cutting that goes on. We have a letter from mechanics stating unequivocally that the brake line was drained.
Oh, okay. Right.
Vandalism of vehicles, vandalism of my friends' vehicles.
Just the room in there. Who uses that room?
They're being renovated.
Oh.
That'll be David's room. Just finish your family, you know. So if I get a little bit uptight, it's something you guys do. I may just do it.
Okay, we'll stay inside the house for now. We'll just make our way over this side. And this laundry, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Toilet.
Right, we'll just come back into position.
So what are you guys actually looking for besides general evidence of what, like terrorist action? Because you say security, you're not normally the police.
Well, we are.
Oh, you are, but you have special.
What we'll do, we'll finish the pan in here. If we go outside, we'll do a pan before we go to those rooms. That way we keep it all in separate areas. All right. Now, the way the search will be conducted today is that we will switch the camera off shortly, conduct the search. If we find items of interest, we will turn the camera back on and then pose questions to you. Now,
I prefer if you kept the camera running the whole time.
all right, well, our standard operating procedures we don't do that, but what we do is that wherever we're searching, you're present. We don't have people searching in another room unless you're there. Okay, so there's no, if we're searching this room, you'll be present. We won't search a room unless you're there. Okay, and that's when the camera will go on if we find items. Now, specifically, what we're talking about is the incident that occurred at South Perth in
Where I was
the
assaulted by the young...
So you're obviously familiar with the situation I'm talking
The
about?
guy that tried to belt the camera out of my hand, yes.
All right, so can we just talk about that?
Absolutely, let's talk about
All
it.
right, now, the 2nd of May, Saturday the 2nd of May,
Mhm.
which was 2 weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago, at the vicinity of the South Perth IGA in Main Street, South Perth. What can you tell me about what you were doing?
I went down there to film. What I'm trying to do is encourage people to be activists against this Jewish Zionist criminal network.
Okay.
Sort of people which, like Leon Wend, who did the installation for the Collins class sub weapons and sensor systems, which he related to a friend of mine. And I saw all the video and still images of the interior of the sub, including conversations with crew, including the submarine commander, asking Leon why he was filming so much. When all this, and when I heard about Variant and that Leon Wend was installing the Sydney Rail Transit System security, which I heard him say at the table, and seeing as Variant are the ones that were running the security on the London Underground at the time when supposed Muslim extremists who were never actually identified on the train, but were found in images which are run by Variant. At that time when witnesses stated that explosive was clearly placed under the train carriage, and the carriage floor was blown upwards, where witnesses claimed explicitly that there were no backpacks present. Israeli intelligence, military intelligence, and some people who call them the Mossad, but it's usually military intelligence. They run all their security systems. They ran the World Trades, the 9/11 security. They're everywhere now, running security systems, installing surveillance systems, computer data gathering systems for all sorts of corporations where they gather data, track and trace. Amdocs, and variant of a particular interest, Amdocs actually traced my calls. I rang my sister to tell her I would be coming next week. The next day she received a visit by an Israeli art student. They didn't visit any other houses in the street. They knocked in the door and asked if I wanted to buy some art. This was 24 hours after I stated I was going there. They also came to this house. I asked all the neighbours, did you get a visit from an Israeli art student or someone selling cheap art? They stated no. So clearly my communications were being tracked by Israeli or Jewish or whatever you want to call it.
When did that happen?
That occurred, I actually handed in just a very, very thin little Joondalup police station, making a complaint.
When was that?
That was it October, November 2008?
Okay, so October last year.
Yeah,
Right.
and they said, the woman said, well, we'll pass this on to the state security unit.
Okay, all right. So that's the
That was the lead up. So what I wanted to do was I was pushing, once I got all this stuff and I had to act on my own conscience, Detective Colin Hush, because I named Leon, when Detective Colin Hush came here and spoke with me, he then went away and spoke with the Australian Federal Police. The Australian Federal Police went and interviewed Leon. I was told it was a raid or a search, but I've since been told it was an interview about his activities. Leon went also 1 week before the Gaza slaughter, suddenly took off for Israel, in which case I was pursuing him as a war criminal. I also aimed to remove the Israeli Defence Force from Campbell Barracks, where they teach Arabic language, tradition, culture, and various other things. These people are war criminals, and the Indonesian Kalpasas Special Forces were banned from training with the Special Air Service in 1999-2000. I spoke with Wayne Prime. Wayne Prime was a senior NCO, military intelligence based in Canundra, who stayed at my house for 2 weeks in late 2001, early 2002. He spoke of how they were pleased that they finally got rid of Kopassus and they do not have anything to do with them. He told me of how there were piles of syringes 2 feet high in the Indonesian military barracks where they were injecting IV amphetamine. I'm just giving you the background of how this stuff led up to us.
I think we've got a pretty good idea of the issues that
You've got to use your time.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that. Perhaps before you can...
I wanted to give some background about why I'm a bit amped up. I wanted to give some background on the harassment.
Yeah.
And these are off-duty SAS personnel working with local police. It's called gaslighting. They come and move fridge magnets. In fact, I was just watching the documentary Kay Briggs Talks.
Brendon, how about we stay on topic for now?
No worries.
All right. We're specifically talking about the 2nd of May. Now,
Look, I went down
we
to
talk
show
about-
some activists.
Yeah,
I went down to the show activists. Alex Wisson, I had nothing to do with Alex Wisson or the Friends of Palestine, but they're doing great activist activity.
Okay.
And I wanted to go down there and film them doing a very simple grassroots protest. That was my aim. Purely that. I didn't even go there expecting any trouble whatsoever.
Just before you go on, you mentioned a couple of times you were filming, and when you mentioned filming, there's a production or a video that's been put onto the internet.
It's been taken off now.
Okay, well, it has been put onto the internet.
Yeah. It was linked to by the Sydney Daily Telegraph.
All right. The video in question, on which we agree that we're talking about the same incident, or
Called First Fruits.
First Fruits, that's right, at the South Perth IGA. There's some commentary prior to the actual attendance at the protest of yourself. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
You made those preliminary comments prior to going. Was that made here?
Yeah, out on the table.
Out on the table. Then the video footage, I think, is of you on a ferry.
Yep, that's
In
right.
South Perth. And then there's some video coverage of people standing around. I think you actually identify Alex Wisson as well in the video talking about him. Is that right?
May have done, yeah. Yeah, probably. That's why I'm pushing
So the
back.
video we're talking about is you've authored that video, you've made that video.
Yes, if we assume it's the same one.
And well, I want to make sure we're talking about the same.
Sounds
video.
like it, yeah.
Okay, if there's other videos that we're talking about, I'd like to clarify that. But the First Fruits one relates to...
The incident where the camera was slapped out of my hand. That one.
Okay, well, there's some things that happened prior to that.
When I was Silva,
That's the
right.
same video we're talking about. So we're clear that we're talking about that particular
we are.
matter. Okay.
Yes.
Without going into the detail of the whole video now, which we will do shortly, that was then put onto the internet.
Yep.
Did you make that available on the internet?
Certainly did. Daily Motion.
Daily Motion.
That's where I received all the threats from the Jewish community.
Okay, so
which I've screenshotted and collected.
sure. Just to confirm, you recorded the video yourself.
Yes.
You've obviously authored it. There was some post-production, for want of a better word. I'm not very
Yes.
tech-savvy.
Yes.
And
on the computer. Yeah.
All of the things that are recorded on that video on Daily Motion were authored by yourself.
That's
There's
right.
some subtitles there.
Yep. Everything.
Okay, all right. Now, let's go back to the day you attended there. You mentioned Alex Wilson and Friend in Palestine. What can you tell me about that group?
The activists are fighting hard to show clearly the racism, the homicidal hatred of Jews in Israel to the Arab Palestinians.
All right, so what were they doing there at that particular
They were
time?
highlighting the Israeli fruit that is there, and that was mislabeled. There was supposed to be Jaffa oranges and some other fruit.
Okay, all right. And that's the reason you went there?
Yeah, I wanted to show just simple grassroots activism.
Okay, all right. And had you previously been to any Friends of Palestine?
I went to the Gaza rally, which was on the 2nd of January, I believe.
Yeah, okay. All right, so you went to that. And after that, you hadn't attended any other functions?
No, I've never. I spoke with Alex Wilson for 30 seconds at the Gaza rally, where he stated this was not a religious issue, whereas all the Palestinians will tell you it is a religious issue.
Right.
And he stated unequivocally. I barely spoke to him there. In fact, I most of them are leftists and communists and whatnot, but I admire them for their guts. They get out there and protest, which is what I was trying to embarrass the Christians into begin protesting.
Right. So you've attended this protest. Just the time of the protest, was it about 10 o'clock in the morning? Or
No, it was 11 a.m.
11 a.m. All right. Now, you videotaped the scene, the surrounds, obviously.
Yeah, one of the main things I wanted to do was the intimidation that the Jewish community usually does to these groups. And I noticed that at a previous rally, there were several photographers with large lenses, and I wasn't sure whether AFP or you guys or local Jewish community.
Right.
So what I wanted to do was also film them for a change, because they do a lot of intimidatory tactics. I've been intimidated intensely ever since I started speaking out, particularly to do with SAS communications being installed by Leon Wend and Israeli.
All right, well, you've covered off on that.
I'll never stop talking about it.
No, that's okay, but look, let's stay on topic for now. And let me just say this, if you have any allegations that you'd like to make in relation to those threats,
Absolutely.
we will take those off this particular video, because they're not relevant to this matter at the moment.
Really?
I will take a statement from you or a complaint from you
Absolutely.
at another time.
That.
Okay, so I just want you to know that. So if you're going to make reference to these things, probably best to wait until that appropriate time.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Now, what happened when you got there?
I just what you see in the video, I did some minimal cutting, and I just went in there and said, I happened to see Alex there, and I actually wasn't going to go. I didn't really want to engage with him, because I know we have some pretty different political and ideological differences.
Sure.
I wanted to steer clear of them. But I was hoping to at least speak with some. I wanted to speak to some of the communists and whatnot, because being a member, well, not officially a member of the Russian Orthodox Church, I would come under the term of a catechum. I'm not baptised officially, I'm a Catholic baptised, but I wanted to point out to a lot of the communists and leftists there about what went on in Russia, but also to obviously embarrass the Christians into doing some activism, because I admire the left for their activism. Anyway, the point is, I happened to be there. I thought Alex Wilson was moving away from the fruit, and I moved up to the fruit, and I overheard them say that the fruit had been relabelled. And as I walked up, he heard me say, so this is the offending fruit, and he said, oh, Brendon, because obviously he remembered me.
You can hear some of that commentary on
Yeah,
the video.
yeah.
So that you're inside the shop, the IGA at this point?
Yeah.
Okay, yep.
And we spoke for a little while, and he said, oh, well, if you want to film some stuff, great. And, if you want to send that on to us, whatever.
Right.
I said, no worries. I had no images of a fruit selling event. All it was basic grassroots activism, which I wanted to get across to people.
Yep.
All the white supremacists and the big tough Nazis that hide away in their houses, threatening the Jews and the niggers and the Swiss and all the rest. Well, mostly Jews doing this out here, but trying to get ordinary people out there protesting, particularly the Christians. Spoke to him very briefly for 2 to 3 minutes, he went his way. I spoke to a few of the people there, asked them their politics, so on and so forth. That was when that chappie took the photo, pointed his camera directly at me, and I thought, oh, he's probably with one of the group. And then they went to hand a pamphlet and he stuck his nose up. And I said to him, hey, are you from the Jewish community? And he says, I'm a Jew from Melbourne.
Okay.
And that's
what happened then?
I said, oh, yeah, well, I might have said something like, well, why don't you come and talk to us or something? And he went up there and I thought, wait a minute, I'm not putting up with this. You can't just walk up, and you can take my photo, in public. That's fine, but it was rude.
Okay. I
always ask people, do you mind if I take your photo first? I then went home, because of all the intimidation and all the rest that I've had over the last 12 to 18 months, I decided to film them and confront them. And as I said to them, why were you so rude? Why didn't you come and shake our hand and give you your point of view? And I was ready then to hear. I've spoken with many members of the Jewish community, from the Orthodox to the Messianic. They've told me everything's true, yes, we own all this stuff, but we're waiting for the Messianic age and blah, 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 and you don't criticise another Jew in public. And I am trying to get the Jewish community to speak out against this criminal element, which is in every aspect, well, especially in Campbell Barracks.
Okay, so the video which we're obviously both talking about, we viewed, there's obviously some dialogue that goes on between this chap and yourself. Do you know his name?
Never clue.
Okay. Do you recall at one point he asked what your name is?
Yeah.
And you told him your name, Brendon O'Connell?
It's the sort of guy I am. I stand up for what I believe. To Colin Hush said, why did you put your name to the post?
Okay.
And I'm not hide like the Jewish activists who hide behind false names online and threaten to kill me. And
just talking about, you said your own words, you're like to stand up and make your point known. Can you just tell me what QUOTODT is?
Quote things like truth dead.
Is that something
just a screen
identified?
Yeah. Oh no, it comes from a quo veritas, which is
but when in a context of online internet type.
Yeah, that's an internet screen name, but you must be very careful because anyone can go to any forum and put that screen name up and pretend to be you, which is something that you do very often to defame you and slander.
So is that a name that you have used as a?
I have used that quote, capital QUO, capital TODT.
Now, under the Daily Motion site, /user/quotod, and the first fruits, that's the post that you put on.
That's the video which was banned.
Yeah, okay. But that's the one you put on.
I gather we were talking of the same video.
What other names do you use?
Over the years.
Yeah.
Over the years, Donnie Darko, DONNIE, capital DARKO.
Right.
Quo Veritas, QUO, capital VERITAS.
Okay.
Quotot.
Now, in recent weeks.
Quotot.
Okay. Since Saturday, the 2nd of May.
No, quotot.
You've just used that one. Have you used any others?
No, quotot. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Pretty sure.
All right. Now, just going back to this discussion after you've spoken to this young chap, the discussion has become heated. Would you agree? There's some comments that are going backward and forward.
Yeah, he became heated, yes.
Yeah. All right.
And I became heated after he became heated.
Okay. Now, what can you tell me about what happened then?
Sorry,
at this time you're outside the shop.
Yeah, I actually asked him. I said, "Can we go outside away from the customers and the thing, so we don't disturb anyone?" Which he refused. He was standing. He was there to make a scene. That's what he was there for. This is the way they do it. When shopkeeper finally came up and asked us to move on, which is what I asked originally, yes, he did.
Okay.
And then as we were outside, he started, I can't remember the content of the conversation, but I said, look, you have a religion of racism, hate and ethnic cleansing, which they have.
All right, and just on that, what did you mean by that?
Do you know what the Tanakh is?
I have a very, very...
So you've done a bit of a briefing. Okay, the Tanakh is...
Without going into...
Very briefly, there's three books
of all of these...
Okay, there are 3 books to Judaism. Okay.
Sure.
There's no such thing as Judaism, particularly that was a fairly modern term. There were the Israelites and the law. That was the Old Testament, which is what most Christians are familiar with. This is important.
Okay.
This is important. Then you have the Babylonian Talmud, which is the 2 books of the Mishnah and the Gemara. The Mishnah and the Gemara is rabbinic, Pharisaic Judaism.
Which I think is what you referenced.
This is important. That's right, and also referenced the book of the Zohar, which is Kabbalah or Jewish mysticism, which are filled. I'll give you an example. Rabbi Schneerson, not that long ago, said the best of the Gentiles should be killed. That is one example of hundreds of rabbinical statements calling non-Jews animals worthy of death, you name it. That's what I'm getting them on. The fact that they run around calling everyone else racist while they are the ones with an incredibly racist, terrible, I mean, it's just offensive, and it's hate literature. Okay. While they run around calling everyone else a racist and a hate.
So it's ridiculous. Confirm that you did say you have a religion of racism, homicide, and ethnic.
Absolutely. Let's read it. Read 1 Samuel out of these.
And these comments are made in the street.
Absolutely.
You can clearly see people walking.
Oh no, that was in the little alcove, like the little delivery area.
Oh yeah. And shortly after that, the complainant or the person that's the main focus of your video.
She probably came down she want to go to.
Oh, okay. Does she live here?
No. This is her house. She lives next door. She's got house.
Oh, okay. No,
look after it.
We'll explain to her what's happening if you like.
Oh, sure. Not that. You'll never get out of it.
Okay. All right. So after these comments are made, the person walks down it looks like an alleyway out of the shopping area.
Yes, the main entrance. Yep.
Then it looks as if the discussion starts to centre around people being called racist.
Yep.
And then there's another comment. You have had 3,000 years of homicide and ethnic cleansing.
That's correct, yes.
You made that comment?
Absolutely. It's in their books, read it.
Now, you're still videotaping at this time?
Absolutely, yeah.
And
all footage, the raw footage is on the computer.
There's other comments. You read racist, homicidal books.
I don't know if I said you have books of racism or something like that. Yeah.
And what do you mean by that?
Oh, 1 Samuel, slay them all, spare them not. Kill man, woman, infant and suckling, camel and ass. That's the good book. That's the Tanakh. I have a list of hundreds of rabbinical comments. That's the good book. Then you have the Talmud, and then you have the Zohar. Is this the key point then? These comments on their religion being a religion of racism and hate?
Just answering this, did you then say you racist, homicidal man?
I probably said you racist. Oh, I may have, yes.
Yeah. And what did you mean when you said that?
I mean that because he refuses to speak out against the hatred and racism within Jewish religious law.
So you didn't know this person, you said to me, so why would you call him a
because
racist,
he was defending the racist and homicidal ideology, religion, traditions and culture of Judaism.
What was your intention of calling him a racist?
To point out the fact that he defends a religion which promulgates hatred, racism and intolerance of non-Jews. It is anti-gentilism.
So he was a person who you felt was representing the Jewish faith?
He was covering over the mass slaughter of the Palestinians for the last 60 plus years. Okay. Which, for the record, Bernard Tandy was General Boy Browning in Palestine, his personal bodyguard. He was the paratroop regiment, and he would tell me his horror of what the Stern and Irgun Jewish gangs would do to the locals and to British soldiers.
And then there was another comment that you made, and correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
You slaughter the Palestinians as if they were ducks.
Yeah, that's correct.
To that person?
Absolutely, that's what goes
on. Do you know if that is actually something he's physically done?
Gents, what is this? You go on, gentlemen. You know what I'm trying to get across. The man is defending. He represents, and I can't even believe you're here based on this rubbish. This is rubbish.
Well, we're giving you an opportunity.
John Kizon is still walking the streets. I'd appreciate it. And Troy McCanty.
Okay.
All right. I want to know why it is you've come to my house because this idiot who tried to knock the camera out of my hand twice.
Brendon, I understand you're getting a little bit.
I'm sick of this. I've been harassed for 18 months.
Well, I'm sick to you. Once we conclude this,
I'm sorry. I'm sick of
I'm quite happy to sit down and take a report in relation to those other matters. What I want to ask you, and what I am asking you, is that you have said things, and you had agreed with me already that you said to this individual, you are a racist, homicidal man.
Because he was defending the simple invasion and ethnic cleansing of Palestinians from their ancestral homeland for 1,300 years, and he was defending their right, which he said, we have been fighting to return to Israel, the land of our fathers, whatever he said, for 2,000 years, and that was their excuse. We can move in and boot them out. These are very banal and very basic points of history. He has no right to do that. He has no right to defend that. He is a national socialist, fascist Nazi.
For a person who is standing in the street that you've never met and you don't know, for you to say to him, now correct me if I'm wrong,
he defends
rape and kill little children. You said
that was just a generic term. Look, they call themselves. What are you, Bushler? Come on, gentlemen, this is ridiculous.
Well, no, I'm asking you.
It's ridiculous.
Is that what you said?
This is ridiculous. This was it was a generic term to this. He represents the hardcore Jewish Zionist element. He went to a Talmud day school where they learned the racism and hate of their religious books. He came there.
That's what I
don't care. He came there to defend the mass slaughter. Therefore, he represents that ideology. He represents it.
So essentially, you're saying he's a homicidal maniac.
He represents, he defends an ideology of racism, hate and ethnic cleansing, which has been mass slaughtering the Palestinian people and the Middle East.
You spoke about Jewish day school, and I just want to cover that actually. On the video, there's a excuse me, my phone's a bit to ring. There is there's a subtitle that's put on the screen. For want of a better word, is that some post-production again?
Sure.
Which says Jewish day school where little Judaics learn how to be racist, homicidal maniacs.
That's correct. That's what's in it.
And that's something that you put on.
Absolutely. And let's get it in court, please.
Okay.
Let's get all this up in court.
Let's follow this path first, and we'll explain about what's going to happen from here.
Sorry, I don't mean to. It's just I'm just looking at taxpayers' money being wasted.
Apologise. Now, another comment, you're a racist homicidal maniac, again focusing on...
A generic term. He represents his views. He defends staunchly the right of a group of people calling themselves generically Jews to go into the ancestral homeland of the Palestinians, ethnically cleanse them, murder them. This is a matter of simple history. He represents that ideology, like a Nazi. If I found a Nazi, I don't care if he'd been on the Eastern Front and killed Russians or Jews, if I would say you represent or you kill little Jews or little Russians in Russia, we would have no problem with that. But with the Judaics, we can't mention it. He represents an ideology of hatred, racism.
All right, so we've established so far that you didn't know this person.
No, it was a generic term based on the fact that he was.
I just want to clarify for my own personal knowledge.
Sorry,
you didn't know this person.
Never seen him before in my life.
You spoke to him, and he did declare that he was a Jewish student, I believe, from Melbourne.
He said something about Melbourne Jew tourists or something. Tourists who came down.
So that's all you knew about this person.
That's right.
And then from that, you've made these comments that we've spoken about.
He identified himself. I'll play the lawyer too. He identified himself as a representative of the Jewish Zionist ideology based on rabbinic Pharisaic Judaism and the twin pillars of that, and the books of the Zohar and Kabbalah, which are hate literature, racist and homicidal to non-Jews. In particular, Hannah Kasher called them
where you were standing on the street, there were people sitting down having coffee, walking past. What was being said could be clearly heard.
That he went across and sought these people out to say, listen to what he's saying. He tried to listen. He tried to set me up. As soon as I said, you have a religion, he said, so you're calling all Jews racist. Why? Because clearly he knows the law. He's trying to entrap me. All I have done is repeat what is in their books. So that's all I've done.
You were
I was aware he was trying to entrap me. He was trying to entrap me so that you guys could come around to my house, confiscate my video editing gear, delete my hard drive, take my camera, and do my stuff. And I pray to God that the West Australian Police Service, who have cleaned their act up a lot in the last 5 to 10 years, I pray to God you guys play by the rules. I really
Now, what essentially was your intention towards this individual?
I was angry at him for trying to entrap me. He was running around saying to people, they are taught this in these academies, yeshiva academies, and in these day schools. They are taught how to argue by the rabbis. When you find a Gentile who knows our religious law, immediately cease the conversation, scream murder, rape, whatever. They're taught this. I'll produce the documentation for court. Michael Hoffman of revisionisthistory.org has just written a book, Judaism Discovered, which goes into detail. He wrote that with the Karaite Jewish community, who are true Tanakh Jews, Jews of the Old Testament, who refuse rabbinic Pharisaic Judaism and the books of the Kabbalah. They are persecuted by the Jewish Zionists and Jews in general, in Israel and overseas. This guy was entrapping me specifically, and that's what I was angry about. In Palestine, little boys and girls are kidnapped by the soldiers, the Polish and Russian soldiers who can barely speak Hebrew. They are injecting IV amphetamines, taking drugs, and raping the kids. Talked about by the Palestinian community.
All right. Now, what happened shortly after these comments were made? You mentioned something about slapping cameras out of...
He tried once to hit the camera in my hand, and that's when you see me push his hand away. Then he came up again, and he actually slapped that bit shut. And that's when I didn't hit him. I was just for a demonstration.
It's all right. We can see what happened on the video.
So technically, he didn't slap him. I actually grabbed him by the face and pushed him away.
All right. Now, why did you do that?
Because he was trying to smash the camera out of my hand. I was defending myself.
There was there's a bit of footage where the camera moves off the,
It happens twice.
the subject.
It happens twice.
Okay, and then there's a comment made of, "Oh, you assaulted me." What?
That's him. That's him. Well, he's a Jewish lawyer. He said that he was trying to hit the camera out of my hand. So
What did you do?
when he hit the camera for the second time and nearly knocked it out of my hand, I grabbed him. He was right here. He was right next to me. And I pushed him away.
Okay.
And that's when he said, "You've assaulted me." He was setting me up. That's what. Remember, he walked out to the road and goes, "Go on,
Yeah.
push me into a car."
So-
They're taught to do this by the rabbis.
The fact that the camera was pushed away, and then
He didn't push the camera away. He belted the camera until that thing went shut and nearly broke it, and then he knocked it out of my hand.
All right, and then why did you push him away?
What do you think I'm going to do? He's trying to assault me.
All right, so you
I've got the camera up near my
you
face.
felt that you were being assaulted,
Of course, I have the camera up near my face.
and that's why you've reacted in that way.
Oh, spur of them. What else would you do?
All right. Well, I'm asking you.
Sorry,
I'm asking
look,
you.
I'm sorry again. I'm sorry. It's just 18 months coming out.
You don't have to apologise, but
I'm
we'd
gonna
like
apologise.
to get to the bottom of what
I
happened.
know you
Now,
guys do this every day.
There were some other comments that were made shortly after that happened, and I can refresh your memory about some of the things you said, where you said,
I'd shove the camera up his ass.
yeah, that's
And
right.
I'd do worse, and I would have done worse. If he'd have come at me again, I would have belted him flat in his backside.
Now, then you said, go and get a good Jewish lawyer.
That's correct.
You agree with that?
Absolutely. Why? Because he was trying to entrap me, and that's why I said, go and get a good Jewish lawyer. You saw him walk out of the street and say, push me into the car. They are taught to do this.
All right. And then one of the last comments are, you're a racist Jew.
That's correct.
Did you say that?
I would have said that at some stage.
Why
but I
did you
can't
say
tell you
that?
specific? Because he's a racist. He believes he has a right to go into someone's land. He has admitted that he is a rabid Zionist, which is based on the homicidal hatred, racism contained in the holiest of the Jewish books. Therefore, by ergo sum, by logical conclusion, if you are saying, reading books which say the best of the Gentiles should be killed, and we have a right to push people out of their ancestral lands where they've lived for 1,300 years, people who are whiter than you and me, Jesus did not look like a LA rock star out of the School of Rock. He was a dark-skinned Semite who looked like the Palestinians. These people come from Russia and Poland and wherever else.
So when,
Come into the land.
when that comment was made, then there's some conversation you can hear in the background about, oh, come on, Brendon. And then
That's
pretty
Alex,
much the
that's
video
Alex saying, trying to
pulling
stop
away.
it.
And then pretty much the video of that confrontation ceases. And then it looks like there's some follow-up where there's some travelling on a ferry again. Is that
Yeah,
right?
that's
Ferry?
correct.
And then you stand in front of, it looks like the bell tower in Perth there.
That's correct.
And there's some further comment that you make about what you should do or what we should do to the Jewish community or something. You want to
No, I've said, let me be specific. You can use the term camps or prison. If these people have an inherent religious system, which says they are superior, that they are chosen of God, and that their fundamental belief is a adherence to racist Jewish law, that they can steal from non-Jews, they can lie to non-Jews, and that they must defend Israel at all costs, then they are treasonous and subversive. If you had avowed communists, then you would put them in camps to be interrogated. You would ask them what their intentions are, and you would release those who are back into the community who went, no, I need to finish, this is important.
All right.
And it's very simple. They are criminals. That's why I say the Jewish criminals. And I've said to the Jewish community over and over, whether it's Diane or the guy from that there, you people have got to stand up or else there will be a huge backlash against the general Jewish community. You've got to stand up and be counted.
With the final sort of take before the video switched off, you throw something in the bin and you make a comment.
It was an orange. Well, one of their grapefruits.
Yeah. And what was the comment? That you
It was about, it's the same with Ahmadinejad. Ahmadinejad said we must wipe the criminal Zionist regime from the pages of history. That's exactly what I meant. I meant
What do you mean by that?
well, that's what Ahmadinejad said. Then they said that Ahmadinejad said he wanted to wipe Jews off the map and all the rest. What I was saying is that the criminal, Jewish criminality based on the books of the Zohar, the racist hate literature in there, and the racist hate literature within the rabbinic Pharisaic Judaism, it is racial hatred, and that religious ideology and system must be wiped from the face of the earth. It must be taken away, just as Nazism, with its inherent Aryan
So
and
your
Germanic superiority.
interpretation of what these
It's an
things-
ideology.
your interpretation is that it's racial hatred. Is that right?
Their racial hatred, their holy books, their anti-gentleism.
You've read these documents, I take it.
Heaps of people have.
No, I'm
talks
asking
about
you.
them.
You've read them. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And
Unesculpated versions of what they've written into them. Books of the Mishnah.
what your interpretation of what's written is that it's racist, and you think that Jews are racist.
Well, what does it mean when Rabbi Schneerson said the best of the Gentiles must be killed?
But what I'm asking you, Brendon, is that you've read these documents and these books. And you're obviously very well read because you're able to relay these things.
That's why they hate me.
No, look, it's not about hating you.
They hate
What I'm
me.
asking you,
Of course they do.
what
That's
I'm
what
asking
vandalize
you-
my cars.
What I'm asking you is that the comments that you make, you talk about their religion is
You're
racist.
trying to clarify whether I want to kill Jews. Absolutely not.
No,
That is
I'm not asking
absolutely
if you want to kill the Jews. I'm asking you if you're saying that you think what they believe is racist and that Jews are racist.
Their religion, the dominant two pillars of religion are rabbinic, Pharisaic Judaism,
Yes.
and the books of the Kabbalah. They are the twin
Which
pillars
you've
of
read?
Judaism.
Have you read
Yes,
them?
I've read
Okay.
it. I can give you hundreds of
So,
quotes.
based on that reading, what is your
That
opinion?
religious system and its inherent racism and hatred for non-Jews, its commandments that they can cheat and steal, that they constantly are at war with their neighbours. 3,000 years they've been booted out of everywhere they've gone. There's a reason. That must be gone so that ordinary Jews can live in peace. That's why I talk about the Karaites, who are the only small sect of Jews who exclusively go by the Tanakh or Old Testament. They are the true Jews.
Just to clarify, we've spoken about Jews. What is a Jew?
You tell me. A Jew will be whatever they want it to be.
Well, what's-
1 minute. It's not a race.
Yep.
It's
You've
not a
spoken
race.
about Jews,
It's not a
haven't
race.
they? What are they to you?
To me, they're not a race.
Okay.
It is a race. It's Nazi ideology. That's all it is. It is a Nazi ideology. That's what it is.
What do you, when someone says Jew, what do you believe that to be?
It is I call it a death cult, a secret society. It is a ideology and state of mind. It's a state of mind. It's nothing to do with ethnicity or race. Most of them have no linkage to the true Semitic peoples of that's why it's
Where, for your own opinion, where do Jews come from?
Hey, look, call me a Jew. You've seen my father and his father, kinky hair, dark skin from southern Spain.
Where do Jews come from?
Well, you're talking about today.
Well, I'm asking you, when I ask you a question about something, I'm asking you what you believe that to be. What do you believe?
Jews are a cult. They are a secret society.
Do you know where they physically come from?
They come from all over the world.
Right. And what about their basis of their religious books, etc.? Where do they come from?
Oh, the books of the Babylonian Talmud comes from Iraq, ancient Babylon, the oral laws. That's where it was written. Understand what you're getting at. Let me chat some more. That's where they were written. The books of the Zohar were mainly written over in Khazaria, central Russia. Turkish honey stock went up through into Eastern Europe, and it became virtual witchcraft. You see them twirling chickens, sacrificing chickens and ghosts. It's witchcraft. That's what it fundamentally is.
So
it's not the Tanakh. It's nothing to do with the Old Testament.
If a person was to say, I am a Jew, what would that mean to you?
It would mean nothing. I'm a Jew. I'm a Jew.
But you said about it's an ideology, it's a state of mind, but what does it mean? Is that what you mean?
Well, you go and ask them. I don't know what it means. All I know is there are groups.
You have to have quite a lot of knowledge about the history. From that knowledge, have you made...
What about if I go to Swaziland and start calling myself a Swahili? I can call myself a Swahili.
I know you can do what you want, but I'm asking you, what do you think a Jew is? What is a Jew?
A Jew is someone who states a belief. Well, this is the point. You can't say most of them haven't even read the books. They don't read the books. And when they get told by people like me who have their best interests in mind, I'm their best friend. I'm warning them what is to come if they don't wake up. Do they get out? Have they heard? What about the guy from Israel who's the largest stockbroking firm here in Perth?
If we just go back finally to the situation where we're talking about these comments being made in the video and we're standing sort of a metre or so apart.
Right.
The video is on in this video that we're talking about. He's speaking quite clearly, and it's quite clear that people around can hear what you're saying. The comments that you made, people that don't know particularly what you're talking about.
I'm not interested in them. I'm not talking about I'm talking to a man.
Hang on, Brendon, just let me finish, and then you can make your point. May feel and would feel and have felt that those comments are inappropriate and would cause them to think that you were trying to make these people feel racially taunted,
nothing to
and
do
cause
with
animosity towards their race.
They're not a race. Why are they a race? Does that guy look Semitic?
Is that what you were intending to do?
They're not a race. He's not. Does he look Semitic? He's probably from Romania.
What does Semitic mean?
Semitic means, have you ever seen the Arab people? Tight, dark, curly hair, dark skin.
That's a Semitic, is it?
There's a Semite. That's Mary with Jesus, dark skin.
All right. And is that your definition?
The Palestinian Arab people are Semitic peoples.
Okay.
The Jews are not a race. They are a cult. They are a religious cult that has as its basis homicidal hatred of non-Jews. That is their religious book. They don't follow the Old Testament. That's what most people don't understand.
Just before we go on, have you got any questions that you'd like to ask, Sergeant Manners? All right. What we'll do now is we're going to switch the video off. We're going to, you spoke about the computer that's in your room, the laptop. We're going to go into your room and then we'll have a discussion about that. Okay? Sure. The time now is 3:47 p.m. We've just done a quick video swap as well. We're now standing in your bedroom. Is that right, Brendon?
Yeah.
Okay, and we walked in and the laptop is on here. We haven't touched it in any way since you've walked in.
As far as I know.
I mean, you walked up quickly and touched it for about a second and I asked you not to. Do you agree with that?
That's right. Yeah. Do you mean touched it since we walked in the room?
Yes.
Yeah.
You touched it when we were standing
Yeah,
there.
I agree that since we walked in the room, I haven't seen you touch it. No.
Okay, all right. And so what I might do is just get you to zoom in on that screen for me, just to capture what's on there. Now, this computer you said is yours, is that correct?
That's correct, yep.
All right.
All the work I've done, video editing work has been done on that computer.
All the video, so the video we spoke about earlier was made on this.
Where I was assaulted, yes, in South Perth. That was all done on the...
Right. Now, next to it is a hard drive, is it?
That's correct, yeah.
Now, is that...
That's my backup. That's my backup hard drive for all my data. Because of all the hacking and stuff that goes on, I have to regularly back up my data.
All right.
That's Leon Wend, I might add, because he is a programmer and a very good hacker, which he's a brag about.
What I might just do is put some blood on. Just bear with me. Now, the protocols for us for syncing computers is that we just switch the computer off at the source.
Okay.
We don't shut down, we don't do anything else.
You'll have to take the battery out.
No, we don't.
No, we just switch it off at the source.
Oh, I see. And just
and leave it as is. We certainly don't get involved in shutting down or anything. So that's what we will do. But we'll leave the cables as they are. But before we do that, we'll probably just take some pictures just to show where everything is. So
sure.
To try and reduce the possibility of corrupting any data, essentially, is what we're trying to do. Okay?
You can take some photos and get the cables, etc.
Yeah. I'll just grab some newspaper clipping or just have to read volumes.
Yeah, that's regarding the project I'm doing about the mass bird die-off in Esperance. I was down there when they were dropping out of the sky.
Oh, is it the lead?
No, it wasn't lead, no. I've got it on tape admitting I don't believe it was the lead. They don't know what it is.
They don't know what it is.
No, the scientists don't know. So it never happened before. I know what it is. I have a good idea. Someone's having a bit of an experiment down there.
Now, there's a piece of paper here with Andrew Baker, is it?
That's to do with an IT course I'm doing.
There's a website, kroy NH.
Yeah, actually, can I keep a copy of that? Because I have to send her an email address for the course.
We probably won't be taking this, but that's
all right.
Who is this Camilla?
I spoke to her briefly. She's the new IT course coordinator from Andrew.
All right.
Where are you doing the course?
It's at New Horizons in Mill Street.
Okay. And this just outlines the course, is it? Certificate 3 Information Technology.
Around my course.
What do you know that?
Oh, it's beginning.
Oh, I guess. You happy with that, Steve? You paid that? All right. There's a DVD here, Lipstead, Amalek, and
It's a very good one. In fact, you can have that. Keep it as a copy. That will go with. That's Michael Hoffman. He's an excellent
lecturer. You referenced him earlier. So.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
So this DVD.
He'll go into the details of the racist religious texts of modern day and ancient Judaism. That was some movies given to me by a channel. No, I haven't looked at it.
Linux, that's our operating system.
Yep, that's an operating system.
All right. There's another piece of paper.
Oh, just use those mouse pad and notes.
What does this relate to? These comments. Virus update IP.
Yeah, that's part of the hacking, I believe, was going on. That was an IP number.
Oh, just taking it away from the computer.
I'm not actually sure. Oh, that's the phone number here.
For what?
That's the phone number here to this house.
Okay. And that number up the top?
That was in my phone. I didn't know whose number it was.
Do you know whose number it is now?
No, I've been asking people. I have no idea who it was.
Oh, have you rung the number?
No, I've got no phone credit on my phone.
Oh, okay.
And the phone here is not working because of AAP2. Information Underground is what do you call it? A forum. I haven't been there. A forum. Oh, yeah. Someone gave me some information on it. Yeah.
All right, what we might do then is, whilst the camera's rolling, I'll get the exhibits officer, Detective Sergeant shortly to come in. He's just going to switch the computer off. And all the cables will stay connected except the power cable.
Sure.
All right, and we'll put that all into a bag.
All the cables are going to stay connected.
Yeah, except I was just unplug the power, and if we can. Now, by shutting that screen, that will turn it into sort of hibernate mode.
Yep.
All right, so we'll do that as well.
And the mouse will take.
Yep.
You want the mouse?
Yep, just leave everything plugged in and just unplug the power. There's only one power cable to it, I think.
Yeah. It's it'll be attached to that white extension cord.
When that goes over the other. How long's the battery life?
Unplugged now, that would be a couple of hours.
And to your knowledge, you just shut it. To your knowledge, when the battery runs out, do you know if there's any loss of data, or is it all?
No, that'll hibernate now. That'll last
So it'll
48
stay.
hours. Yeah.
Is there a password for the laptop?
Yes, there is. It's a BIOS password at the very start.
Now, when you give us this password, I'm asking you, does the password that you're about to give us corrupt the data in any way?
No, it's a simple BIOS password to stop people getting at your computer at all. You know, because normally they can get in and reinstall hard drives and stuff. You can't do that because.
But just so you know, what happens to that now is we are not computer technicians. We have a computer crime section that deals with interrogation of computers. The computer will not be touched by us. It will be sealed up, and you'll see that process shortly, taken to our computer crime people, and they forensically analyse the computer. So we're not going to sit back at our office and start typing and looking at things, because the way, as I said to you before, things are done in a way that's accountable and transparent. So just want you to know that the data will not be corrupted in any way by us. Our computer people will do everything they can to keep the system as it is when they received it. So what we've done today, we've turned the power off, closed the screen, put it in a bag. That's the only involvement we will have physically with touching the computer until we deliver it to computer crime. We will analyse it. All right. So that's the chain of how.
Yeah, I know someone needs to do it.
Okay. All right.
What's your password?
It's Anima. It's Latin for soul. So that's ANIMA 2710. Could ask if anyone. So
ANIMA. That's Alpha November, India Mike Alpha.
Yep.
2710.
Just over on this side of the room, complete Jewish Bible.
That was given to me by a Messianic Jew.
Okay. And have you read this particular book?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
From start to finish. Okay.
But that is the Tanakh. That's the Tanakh in the New Testament. That's not the other religious books.
So Brendon O'Connell's just written up here, may the Lord bless you and keep you. Shalom.
Yeah, that's Diane.
Who's Diane?
Diane is a Jewish lady who I met and chatted with for a number of times. He told me about many of the Jewish religious practices and what they say in their private homes about Christians and stuff, and she's a wonderful lady. She works in a remote Aboriginal community. Also spoke to several from the Orthodox Jewish community, told me a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's a camera in here, Kodak.
Yep.
Is that your camera?
That's my camera.
All right. Yeah. Is there a memory card or something?
Yep, the memory card in. Yeah.
All right. What we're going to do, we're going to seize that as well. All right. I'm not going to turn it on. I'm just going to seize it.
Sharing out the cards and in the back, the come bag. Pretty much it.
Is that a wallet?
Yeah, that's my wallet.
That's your wallet, is it? All right. Just while the video's on, I'm just going to open it and have a look in it. Okay.
No, it's time.
I'm just going to lay things out on here, so I'm just going to see.
Don't pop them on the icon, mate. Just pop them.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Just yeah.
Sorry about that.
You're right.
It's just some business cards in here. In fact, I might lay it out on your bed, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then we might just take a photo so we know if there's any more.
That brain on faces with a video camera on his hand.
That one? Yeah. Okay. It's that, yeah, no worries.
You want some stills of those two?
Yeah, I'll lay everything out. We'll just get some. Now, do you mind if I take that out?
Yeah, that's it. All right.
Is there anything in here that you don't want me to remove?
No, go for it. Very boring person, trust me.
I know. I just don't want to offend you. That's all. There's some coin in there, and I won't take that out. There's some. You happy? There's some coin. I'll just zip it up.
Yeah, yeah. Sure.
Okay. Do you have a car?
No.
Yep, you obviously got a license. It's
Yep.
not expired, okay. And how do you generally get around? Is it bus?
Public transport.
Okay. Yeah. Pretty much looks like everything in there.
Jesus, good flash.
Going dark again.
It is.
Okay. There's a camera over here as we spoke about. Okay, we're just going to seize that. And that's joined to it, so I know that you're videotaping what we're doing, but I just want to let you know that we'll be seizing.
It's mainly for sound. That's
We'll be seizing that as well.
Sure.
Brendon, all right. So you're happy to leave that on until we've finished.
Sure.
All right.
I know it's going.
All right. So what we'll do is we'll put this in a bag, and at the end, when we seize the camera, we'll put the camera into that bag. Is that the bag it belongs to?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll do that. Is that a bag, things?
Is that a memory stick on the baby?
So can I speak to you about then laying racial replication charges
Certainly.
against that?
Yeah. Let's, we'll do that after we've finished with what we're doing.
Let's
here.
go.
All right. Well, we've got that. That's going to be one item.
The camera?
The camera and the bag, plus the video camera. Well, if you are okay with it, we might just take the video camera bag off and have them as two separate items. Just for our paperwork, it makes it a bit easier if we itemise every item.
Does it pop in on the
No, that's just the.
Yeah.
You just use that for
Yeah,
cabinets and things.
Yeah, but opening boxes. I'm doing all
I'll leave that there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll hold on to that, and when we take that camera,
Sure.
we'll put that in there. Now, is that a USB stick, is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Just get a shot of that. But I'll take it off the key ring, and I'll take that as well.
This one?
That's a camera.
Yep.
All these items were on
On
the
the bench.
bedside table there.
I think that's a normal one, is it? It's a normal one. Is the table really? It's a table.
Yep.
Yep.
And the memory stick. All right, now what we'll do, we've done a pretty good search so far. I'll switch the camera off at this point, and then we'll continue with the search, right? The time now is 5 past.
Can I just ask, just for clarification, why does the camera get turned off? Just one clarification.
Well, firstly, it saves battery life and camera and tape, and the fact is, you're with us in the room.
Right.
You see everything we do, so that covers us as far as allegations of things going missing or being damaged or you know, misconduct, if you like.
Sure.
The video goes on when we want to talk to you specifically about things that are relating to our investigation, and that's why we put the camera back on, to capture our comments and questions, because would you agree that we don't talk to you about anything unless the video camera is on? Do you agree that that's the process?
That's what you're talking about.
Well, you've been here the whole time.
Well,
I mean,
we've chatted.
Apart from, all right, I'll just clarify that then. Have we spoken about this investigation specifically?
Not that I can recall. No.
All right, but that's why we do it.
Okay.
Okay. So, and I mean, you've got your recording there.
So far.
Yeah. That's the environment we work in. Okay. So that's why we do it.
Just before we turn it off, there's 2 discs, made discs for sound. Yeah, one of those ones, so actually marked.
No, it's operating system, right?
Is it?
Ubuntu.
That's a Linux-based operating system. Yeah. That was to try and keep Leon out of the computer, but didn't work very well.
Okay.
Could you just not popping on that one?
You're on.
No, you're cool.
Sorry.
That's all right.
My apologies. I didn't intend to do that.
I won't see you.
The time is 8 minutes past 4.
That one, yeah.
Okay, recording.
All right, the time is 10 past 4. Video's back on. Detective Colangelo has just been searching through some DVDs that are in a container. Are these DVDs yours?
Yes.
All right. Of interest, he's identified one that's titled Child Abuse.
That's about elite pedophile rings in the United States.
All right, now, where did that video come from?
They're downloaded off the internet.
All right.
It's to do, there's also an ex-FBI investigator who's on there detailing, as you would know, pedophile rings here. Detective Gordon Birtwistle.
Yeah,
So my friend, that goes, pedophile rings go all the way to the top, quote unquote.
Now, are there any images on that disc that relate to child?
No, it's purely mainstream documentaries taken off Google Video.
All right. Okay.
Take them with you. I've got copies somewhere.
Just on copies, we probably will. We will take that DVD just by the very nature of what it's called, okay? And we'll seize that. But when we spoke earlier about that video that you said you've uploaded and is the subject of why we're here, have you made copies of that?
No. I know many copies were made into DVDs in England and America. And
No, I'm talking about specifically that video we're talking about of the incident that happened.
I haven't made any, but I understand thousands of copies have gone all over the planet.
Thousands of copies.
Thousands of copies, yeah.
Have you got any copies?
No, but the Muslim community apparently in the UK is
have you
very
got
happy.
Not very happy or very?
No, very happy that finally someone is speaking about the racism and hatred contained in Jewish.
So you're telling us that none of these video DVDs, memory sticks that we're seeing.
No, it's all on the. Pretty sure. I don't think I've even backed it up. I'm pretty sure it's just on the laptop hard drive.
Laptop. All right. It's just that Israeli terror operations.
Yep, actually got Leon went in there. Grab that one, make a copy.
What I'll do is we'll grab the whole case with all, and you've seen that we've not taken any DVDs out.
Can I just ask, just the operating system for my computer, just those first couple? Can I just keep those?
Well, what we'll do, we'll seize them in the first instance because we need to just check what's on, and then if they are operating systems, we'll make them available to you sooner rather than later. Okay, we just need to take them all to show continuity.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Sure.
So we'll grab that. We'll just place that on the bed, and then we'll just continue searching.
Catching up.
Any questions before we switch the camera off?
No, that's it.
Time is 11 past 4. Okay, the time is 4:25. We're just going to see some items here. One of them is a container of DVDs and CDs, which were found by detected cement load in that cupboard over there. And the next item is a hard disk drive, USB hard disk, is that right? Drive. Both of these next items were found in the backpack. And the next item is a journal or diary with some names and addresses, which are also found in the backpack. Okay. All right, that completes the search of this room.
We're taking that, yeah.
Yeah, we're grabbing with the camera, but as we've explained, we'll put the video in there at the conclusion. So you can keep it on if you want for now. We'll just go into the room where the TV and multimedia centre is. Now, this is on, obviously, this machine.
So that's one knocked out. Was it? No, that's the computer. Yeah. That's just a monitor, but that's also a monitor.
All right. Now, what's that there?
That is just an IR. It's an IR receiver for the remote because it's got a television digital capture card. This is all data stuff. I don't use this.
It's not a camera.
No, it's a digital. Runs into the back of the TV channel.
All right. Now, prior to us coming into the house, where were you before we came in?
I was painting at the back.
So
At the very rear of the house.
All right. So were you inside the house when we got?
No, here I was at the very back of the house with the stairwell.
Confirm that
Yeah, it was pain.
you were at the back. So before we came into the house, you didn't, or did you touch this system?
No, but I haven't touched that. That was off. It was running through the monitor over there.
All right. Just for the purpose of the video, we just switched it on. And
okay.
That's what came up because it looked like we had a camera connected to that.
Oh, okay.
And it was running, and we were just concerned that
okay.
there might have been some recording going on.
Is that a bad thing?
Oh, we just wanted to know if that was the situation. That's also not a bad thing, but.
Oh, look, there's the Marine Colonel Griggs in charge of assassinations. He's an alcoholic and mass murderer. Very
So,
interesting
as
video.
far as we're concerned, that was as it was prior to coming into this room. You got any questions? Yeah.
How do you get this computer screen?
So,
How do you get that around the computer?
I don't know. It's data stuff. It's just a LCD screen. If you've got multiple connections, you can have all sorts of things running.
So what computer was run off again?
This one here.
So you can't get back to the Windows screen from here?
What do you mean?
Well, obviously it's a computer instead.
Yeah.
So can we get back to the Windows screen so the applications are on or not?
Oh, yeah. But that's over here. The keyboard and stuff's over here.
Yeah.
So whatever you do, this computer reflects on that computer, does it?
No, that's the computer. This is just keyboard, mouse, and monitor.
Okay. So it's all
okay.
It's all
Yeah.
spread, but
Yeah.
essentially that's the main board over there for this
Yeah,
sector.
that's right.
Yeah. There's a blue cable that runs into your room.
Yeah, that's a LAN cable for the internet.
All right, and connected to that video system there, is it?
No, it's just connected straight in the back of this router.
Does it go into the back of that? What was there?
No, one cable does. Yeah.
There's a
A separate cable.
hard drive there as well.
Yeah, there's a USB drive here.
Oh, that's that. Oh, no, that'll work. Nothing to do with that. It's all that stuff.
Well, your items that are in your room that we see, are any of these?
No. I keep everything separate for one reason. If I go to the places I go, to the forums I go to and do the stuff, the computer gets hacked. That's Leon Weng, who has been harassing me for 18 months, and I've had a gutful of him.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll just go out into this area out here. Now, the video that we were talking about, there's a section at the start where you made some comment about what you're going to do. Was that taken out here?
Yep, I was sitting right here. Yeah, Monty.
Oh, and from the video you can see clearly the panelling and that in the video, so that This is where you were sitting when
That's
you were
correct.
there. Okay. Have you got any other questions, Sergeant Manners? All right. Well, that concludes the initial or the formal part of the search. What I'll do is we're going to be seizing that video that you've got in your hand, and I'll do that now because what we're going to do is just a procedural process now where we hand over to the exhibits officer who goes through the items that he sees, gives you a receipt for those items, and then I'll explain what's going to happen. So I'll seize it off now, and I'll put that in the bag for safekeeping. Are there any cables that relate to that for power and those sort of things?
Yeah, they're not in it. They're in my room.
In your room, all right. Well, we might go and grab those as well while we're rolling. After you. You want to
That's the, you don't need a cable for the SD card, you can pull the actual SD card
Yep.
out of
out of the camera. Okay.
Yeah.
With the video cameras on the hard drive or something, at the moment, that's the power for the video camera? Yes, all right.
Yeah, they've just got the little memory cards.
Yes, all right, no worries. We'll just nip back out to the front and explain what's happening. Up to you. Yeah, he's a good one. Very well. All right. What I'll do, are you ready, Brendon? Okay. What we'll do, we'll just wait out here until the exhibits officer's ready. What I'll do, I'll just go through the formal part of the closing of the interview. The video that we've conducted today, obviously we explained the process that we're going to take, and you've answered the questions today. Now, those questions that you've answered, have you given them of your own free will?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Have we, or any of us here, threatened you in any way?
No.
Have we offered you any money or any inducements?
No, you haven't.
Okay, well, I need to make sure we clarify that. Okay. And have you been promised anything to participate in this interview?
No.
Well, and you've understood everything that we've asked of you?
Yep.
All right, now, do you have any complaints about the way the interview's been conducted?
No complaints about the interview, but I find it all very frivolous, and the Jewish community needs to wake up to itself.
Okay. Now, in relation to the matter that we've spoken about, and I'm talking specifically about the video and the incident that occurred on the 2nd of May, have you got anything you wish to say in relation to that?
Yeah, I'll be happy to press charges and also racial vilification laws and have the Babylonian Talmud and the books of the Kabbalah made into officially designated hate literature in the same vein as Nazi ideology and propaganda. That's what this is all about, is to make the public aware of the inherent racism and hatred to non-Jews contained within Jewish holy books.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Now, are you ready to receive? Not yet?
And also to throw in every chance I get variant and docs Leon Webb and compromised communication systems, Collins class sub,
All right.
and everything else.
Just to let you know that further investigation in relation to this will be undertaken. You are currently under arrest, and what's going to happen now is you're going to be brought back to the Northern Police Station. Okay. If charges are subsequently laid, a copy of the video that we've been taking today will be made available to you or your legal representative as soon as we can. All right. So that will be made available to you. What I'll do while we're waiting for the exhibit officer, I might just get a final pan of the house to show the state of the place that we left it in. So we'll do that now. So if you just accompany us to do that, and then we should be ready to continue on.
So would you agree, Brendon, that things look probably the same way?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I noticed that you had a border here, is that right? What's he saying there?
He's off to England to Oxford with his PhD, so I'll stay here to save some money.
So what is he, WA citizen or?
Yeah, well, I think he was born in Tasmania.
Right. So how did you know him?
David knew him.
Okay.
I think he knew him from the church, from the Russian Orthodox Church, I think. I'm not
So
really sure.
which one, sorry, I'm confused. Is there a priest here? Or was it general?
Priest, no, just lay Christians.
You said that Russian Orthodox.
Yeah, that's actually an official, it's in the Russian Orthodox listing. It's a chapel started by Father Michael, who's based in Tasmania.
All right.
So it's an official Russian Orthodox chapel, which has been harassed by Leon Wen's friends, a Russian Orthodox chapel.
So this is obviously, is
That's
it?
correct, yeah.
I reckon it's from Tasmania.
Originally, yeah, positive. I'm not sure when he came.
Where is he now?
He'll be at Murdoch in his office. He's a lecturer as well, Murdoch, in history and theology.
When's he off to?
I think it's the end of May, so it must be very soon. Not too long.
So you agree, Marie? We haven't searched this room.
As far as I know, no, it looks the same. Okay. Merci.
And there's 3 people living in the house.
Yeah, that's correct.
Where's the third bedroom?
Actually living at his mother's at the moment because we're renovating those rooms. That's next door.
Okay.
That's a little old lady.
Yep. And things predominantly look the same as when we were in here.
Yep.
We'll stay with the officer with the video. Yes, sir. Do you want us to shut the front door?
Yeah.
Via the back door?
Probably that's this one.
You involved?
Yes, you could cross it. Wasn't good wearing that, but before.
And you agree that the chapel, one of those rooms,
You know, wasn't it?
yeah,
What did the chapel?
where you selling stuff like that, haven't you?
This other stuff took it over 50 years, and then we've got to renovate here and get it back to the St. George of the Elders Monster Mission Chapel.
So what are you going to do with all the stuff that's on the side?
Oh, that's got to be sold.
How are you going to sell that?
Well, Doug's got to put it on eBay.
I'll tell you what good stuff you got with the
No, look, the garage sale as well.
And we're back in the kitchen area. And then we haven't searched any other areas of the house.
No.
You come back out the back and we'll have a look and see whether the exhibits officer is ready now.
Actually, what is wet? My tissue.
We'll get it before we leave each other. Are you ready, are you, Shorty? Yes.
Still running.
Still running, yeah. I don't know, is this your diary?
No, I don't think so. No.
All right, we'll turn the video off for a minute. What's the time now?
On the camera, 16:33.
All right, just waiting for the exhibits officer.
We'll wrap that up.
Okay, recording.
Okay, time now is 16:40 or 20 to 5. The search is completed. We've conducted a pan and we've discussed the search itself. Detective Sergeant Brendon and Shortland will just go through the exhibits with you.
Brendan, I've been the exhibits officer today. I'm Detective Sergeant Shortland. What I've done is the items that have been shown to you that have been seized have been placed onto exhibit logs. Right. These have unique serial numbers. This particular one is 113252 and 113253. Do you agree?
Yes.
Right. I've got 9 items. I'll quickly run through those with you. Please feel free to comment if you think what I'm saying is incorrect. First item seized was Toshiba laptop. Second item was an external hard drive. Third item, optical mouse. Now those items are all together.
Sure.
Fourth item, the Kodak camera. Fifth item, the USB flash drive. Sixth item, the DVD wallet. Seventh item, the Philips external hard drive. Now what I've done is I've signed that, and I'll invite you to do the same. Yeah, just, oh, if you just sign that, that'll be fine. Eighth item seized was a Milk brand diary, and item 9 was a Canon, the video camera with the charger. That's the serial number. If I sign that one, I'll invite you to do the same. Thank you very much. Is there anything that we've seized that is not accounted for in these logs?
That camera.
Yeah, that's Kodak.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Anything that's been seized that's not on those exhibit logs?
No, it's pretty secret.
While the copies are being out of the page, I'll just give you what is the notice to the occupier under Section 31 of the Criminal Investigation Act. That's just a notice to say that we'll search the premises, who was assisting, and my details. So that's for you. You've also got a copy of the search warrant.
There's one thing I've forgotten.
Oh, the phone, yes. All right.
There's copies of those exhibit logs, and I may have to work that out.
Apologies for that. We took that off at the start, and the exhibit helped us off.
Has that got a pin code in it at all?
I might have, yeah. I don't actually know the number. I go by the letters.
Okay.
I think it's Animus, A-N...
That's what it was before?
No, this is Animus. This is Latin for spirit. It's A-N-I-M-U-S. So it's like you're doing a text. Don't actually know what the number is.
Getting low on battery. Do you want to shut it down?
No, we'll just about done.
And what's the mobile phone number?
I should know.
Sure.
It's at the very beginning. If you just click down, the first number should be the mobile number.
A 0427848711.
That's the one.
042? Brendon?
0427 848 711.
Cheers.
This was on Brendon, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had that in your pocket.
Yeah.
You handed that to us at the start.
Couldn't go to buy 62 or 70.
Yeah.
Brendon, that's become item 10, and that's on a separate exhibit log. This particular serial number is 113254. Samsung mobile phone delivery.
Yep.
I'll have to sign that one and invite you to do the same. Very much. There's a copy for your records.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes the search today. The time now is 4:45 p.m. We'll switch the camera off.
F. Scott Fitzgerald, quote, "The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposing ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. One should, for example, be able to see that things are hopeless and yet be determined to make them otherwise. This philosophy fitted on to my early adult life when I saw the improbable, the implausible, often the impossible, come true."
What is our common bond truly? Freedom. freedom. Without freedom, you can't be a Christian no matter what denomination you belong to. You can't be a Buddhist. You can't own a donut shop. You can't drive from here to Oregon. You can't be an American because that's what it's all about, and it's the only thing that it's all about, nothing else. Nothing else. It's about freedom. Only freedom.